friends, welcome to this class. We're going to paint this seascape. We have a boat and it's a sunrise sunset type of a scene, so we have a lot of warm colors. We're going to use yellows and then some red to make the yellow more like orange-like and warmer, and we're going to paint some clouds. So I first started recording the class and I kind of wetted everything but the boat, which is my approach with this test piece. So that's how my approach is. Basically do everything all at once so you have the paint flowing from the sky toward the water. And the thing is, it didn't really work when I was recording a class because then I ran out of time and this was already too dry to continue applying colors, and I need to add blues over the yellows. So I'm gonna explain everything slowly here. What we're gonna do is first wet the sky portion of the painting. We can go even across the horizon line, and then we're just going to work on the sky first, and that's gonna make it much easier. The sketch is available for download for you, and I'm going to use a larger brush just to cover this area faster. This is my Cosmos Spin by Da Vinci size 60. So normally I use my flat 40 Casanel, but I want to cover it faster. And the longer I paint, and it's been almost 10 years, actually it's been 10 years now, the more I lean toward like using wider brushes, because I cover the area much faster, and then you just kind of don't fiddle like with these little brushes. Like, it's just so much easier and so much more freeing in a way. My palette is very simple. It's just red, quinacridone red, imidazolone yellow, iso yellow, follow blue for the sky. We are going to recreate a shade of gray to create the shadows for the clouds. I'm going to use start with this brush. This is my flat 40 Da Vinci Casanel, and a little more water. I want to start with something that feels more like water to milk like ratio. Okay, these are both of the yellows plus my red. I'm gonna start from the bottom here. It does feel very rich, maybe a little too rich, but I want more water too. Right now, like, I am not looking to have like a lot of control. I want actually the paint to spread. Now let's remember there's the sun areas here, so I do want that the paint to actually spread. So like over here, I'm going to push it this way a little bit. I do want that to spread. I don't need to have that much control. All right, so I think that's pretty good for this first part. Just like we see the transition, where that transition ends is somewhere here actually. But I want a little more of the orange, I'd say, on the bottom. And I can come back to it later, but you know, it just feels better when I do it right away. So I want some clouds here too, maybe a little too reddish, but I want clouds here, and then overall we have these smaller clouds. So what will make these clouds stand out, like in this area here, is actually adding shadows for the clouds. And I'm gonna grab this milk-like ratio. This is my phthalo blue, some quinacridone red. Start with that. I wipe my brush on the top because I feel like I have too much actually water. A little more of that, and to make it look more like we see in the reference, actually grab some of that yellow too. So technically you're painting with the primary colors, which is yellow, blue, and red, and now you're going kind of around these clouds. So now you're going around the clouds a little darker, and then cutting through a little bit. I just want to show where the clouds are. So I'm surrounding my clouds with this color blend. So let's see, do I need any more blue? Maybe a little bit here. So don't worry about trying to match everything. You don't have to match, just a general idea. So what I'm trying to say is don't try to match to my painting or what you see in the reference, because that kind of thing gets us lost a little bit. Now this is my long quill size 4, the larger one. And another thing I need to remind myself of doing is going like over the edges here. This is where the paint drips. It's a block. There you go. So this is going to be heavy grim-like ratio. Same colors. Yellow, red, and there's my blue. Now when you combine the three colors together, you actually create a shade of gray, but I want this to be more like orange gray, if that makes sense, because that's what it looks like in the reference. And show even some of the red. So have heavy cream to cream top like ratio, and then add these shadows toward the bottom of these clouds. I'm trying to get even more and like a little thicker paint. And you don't have to jump in like right away, like make it really dark. You can kind of like gradually add the blue. You don't have to like add it right away, but here's a little more blue. This is more orange, like, because the ratio between the colors that I'm using, the red, yellow, blue, is constantly changing. I'm never grabbing the same ratio between colors for my palette. It's always different. So sometimes it'll feel more like a red gray, sometimes more like an orange gray. And I think that's what I believe in. That's the key in obtaining something, to create something that looks natural. Now, keep in mind to like adjust that ratio between water and paint too, because now I feel like I should be grabbing more like a heavy cream to cream top, more like a cream top, so the paint doesn't spread as much. So again, I'm adding shadows underneath, like in a way on the bottom of these clouds, more of that blend. And I want it to be even darker now, because there's parts of these clouds that are way darker, and this show's actually blue now. Maybe too dark. Maybe if it's too dark, then I'm just gonna neutralize a little bit with more of the red. But what happened was I also grabbed too much water, and I don't want too much water. It has to feel like a heavy cream to cream top. Otherwise, it's a dangerous zone where you can create a bloom very easily. So look for the clouds again and just accent some of them. Try not to worry about, again, matching to the reference or my painting. It's really not that important at all. Like, you'll see I'll show you my test piece, and then you see what my first recording looks like, completely different, because there's no way I can recreate the same thing. And thank you so much for your time. Let me know if you have any questions, and then I'm just gonna keep recording as I'm adding the letters so you can see and get the idea what's going on.